Hi, this is Chris Fournier, and I have with me Mike Russo.
How are you?
I'm doing great today. How about you?
I'm good.
Good. So, Mike, you're one of my colleagues over at EXP. You're from Cleveland, Ohio. Is that right?
Yeah, about 30 miles south of Cleveland.
Okay, great. So, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
And tell me a little bit. What led you here?
That's a loaded question. So a lot of times, people out there will talk about where they're at and where they're from, and what brokerage they're at, and why they're better or why they're worse, whatever the case may be. For me personally, where I was at, it just didn't feel like home, right? So when you find the right brokerage, you find the right fit, that, right? It's a feeling that you get, just like when you find a new house. When you
Absolutely.
walk in, yeah, this is home. I can live here. I felt like that from the first second that I talked with Renee and Al. I'm in their downlines. So just the feeling of being wanted and being part of a bigger thing, right? Bigger family. We call it the one big fire, right? So feeling that from day one just made me know that I was at the right spot.
Yeah, well, we spend so much of our lives, pursuing our work and careers. It's too much time away from your family, friends, and hobbies to be somewhere it doesn't feel like home.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when you have to go somewhere that you're away from your family, you just want to be comfortable, right? Everybody in the world feels that way, no matter what they do. Car salesman, insurance salesman, whatever. If you actively take time away from your family to do something, which we all need a job, we all need to make money, right? The idea of coming here and doing everything it's not a job anymore. It's fun, and they make it more fun. So with EXP, they were able to I'm able to be away from my family, not feel like I'm ever working, even though we're selling a ridiculous amount of houses out there. It still is fun for me to wake up every morning and go do what I do, right? So if I didn't have that, I would never take the time away from my family to do that. So being able to achieve that is amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I remember back when I used to, work a W-2 job in corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
I had a virtual bullseye on the day I turned 59 and a half. I was going to retire, start tapping into my retirement and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, it doesn't feel like work, and I don't see a retirement. I could have retired a long time ago now, but it is just so much fun. I enjoy it. It's very fulfilling helping other agents create time and financial freedom, helping uninsured and underinsured agents get health insurance at affordable cost, and all the ways we can help them and their families that, I really feel good when I go to sleep every night about the impact I can have on other agents and their families.
Yeah, and EXP, we're sitting here together, right? We've talked on Zoom calls and all that other stuff for the last couple months, but this is the first time I ever met you in person. So the one thing about EXP is we're both sitting here, we're both talking about why we're at EXP, but I'm on more of the sales side of it. You're on more of the revenue share side of it, right? So one thing that is a little bit different from my perspective is I get asked all the time, well, you're in EXP just because you want to recruit new people to the system and you're not actually going to sell anything. But this is something that, not that you don't sell, right? Because you're still selling houses, you're still an active realtor, right? Broker, I think, right? So you're still out there doing the stuff that we do every single day, but the benefits that you're getting from the EXP experience. Can you touch a little bit on that?
Yeah. So, I don't sell near as many houses as you do, and I never will. It's not my aspirations. And the way I look at it really is that, I come from a finance background, corporate finance where I worked, but I'm very big in personal finance. And I think I could have a bigger impact on more people, a more lasting impact by helping other agents grow their businesses, their passive income, their time freedom, their financial freedom. You know, selling a house is a transaction, which is a very important transaction. It's the biggest asset in most people's lives. So it's very important. But I feel like I can have a more lasting impact by working with agents to help them improve their lives and businesses.
And one question I have for you with that is, like, your group, the Wolfpack, like, what do you guys do that kind of sets you apart from maybe other people out there? I mean, a lot of people's concern, some of the negative feedback we get all the time is, oh, all you're doing is recruiting. All you're doing is recruiting. Our real goal is to attract, right? So what do you guys do that's a little bit different in your everyday, day-to-day, work, right? Because you work every day. So what do you do that's a little bit different, just to kind of get those naysayers a different mindset on, what you're not doing, I guess, is a better question.
Okay, so first of all, before you answer that question, I'd like to dispel the whole notion of, all we do is recruit, okay?
Right.
Because revenue share is paid out based on the revenue that the company generates.
Correct.
EXP pays out 50% of revenue every month, okay? And if we recruit people who aren't selling real estate, or, if I just recruit a recruiter and so forth,
right,
there's no revenue to share.
Right. 50% of nothing is nothing.
So one of the things that we like to do is we really focus on helping agents meet their goals. And, some people may want to sell more real estate. Some people may want to recruit. Some people may want to coach or mentor other agents.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty of it is that there are so many different lanes at EXP that you can earn income from, that there's no one size fits all.
Right.
Okay. So the people that want to sell real estate, we want to help them all out. Okay. We want to help them generate more leads, get better at converting leads, follow up, improve their price points, and, whatever they want to do to get more successful.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, really focused on modern lead generation techniques. A lot of people are doing things that are, that may have, you may have a coach or trainer in a legacy old fashioned office who was a big seller 10, 15 years ago and hasn't produced since then. Okay. They may be teaching techniques that aren't as relevant this day.
Mm-hmm.
So we're real big at going all in social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, especially. The content you do in YouTube, unlike other social medias, it's evergreen content. It just, aside from like market updates, which also are very important, those don't really have long a shelf life, but they brand the agent as somebody who knows the market and everything. So they're still important.
Mm-hmm.
But the other stuff, like, filming videos in certain neighborhoods, cities, etc., that content just keeps on building itself. And the more subscribers you get, the more views, the higher you'll show in search results, and the more people you'll pick up.
Yeah, it never goes away. It's there for years to come.
Yeah, so we've got, a lot of people in our group have gotten huge amounts of success in leveraging our YouTube training.
Okay. What do you see as the biggest issue facing like 2023's real estate world?
Biggest issue facing 2023's real estate world, I think, is probably the mindset of the average agent. Do we have real challenges? Yes. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Yeah. Sales volumes are down across the board. Interest rates are up, and not as many people are moving. Mm-hmm. But people still need a roof over their head. Everybody needs a home. People are moving, people are getting married and moving into households. Some are divorcing, moving out of households. Mm-hmm. People pass away, go through probate, and, job transfers, and on and on and on. So there's still a lot of housing activity. And really, for those who are really willing to work, are coachable, and have that drive, the people who are doing that are still getting plenty of business.
Yeah.
It's really the ones that, if you're not gonna adapt to pivot at all versus what you were doing for the last few years, you're probably going to find it a little challenging, because the reality is that most of us, to make the same amount of income, probably going to have to work a little bit harder than we did last year.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking about on my team was we have to have the ability to adapt, or you're going to die, right? And not to be, mean or rude or come across
that's
negative.
reality. Yeah,
but that's the reality in everything that we do, no matter where you're at, right? If we lived in downtown Cleveland 25 years ago compared to some of the spots in downtown Cleveland right now, like those people are moving out, right? Those houses are all being renovated. So these houses were being sold for $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 10 years ago. Now they're $350,000, $400,000 because they're renovated and everybody wants to live back down there. So, from that aspect, it just shows you the revolution of all of, the transitions of real estate. You were talking about YouTube and how you help show, YouTube videos and that, make that content. And I think that with that content that's out there, I mean, you can, reverberate that stuff all the time. And it's just going to show you as, the market leader. I personally don't like doing market updates. They kind of cheesy. People do them all the time. Me personally, I don't know. So that's just me. But I watched somebody do a video on, why the market sucks as bad as it does because interest rates are above 6%. And they took a totally negative approach to that. And I don't like that type of video. I think doing videos that are evergreen, as you called it, are far more effective than putting all the negativity out there.
Right. Our role as realtors should not be to scare or, or spread negativity, but be realistic and educate our audience, Yes, I wish that rates were 3%.
Sure.
So do you, I'm sure, and everybody else. But that's not where we are right now.
Yep.
The reality is that, although rates are higher, markets are softening, houses are going for less. We've gotten away from the crazy bidding wars. In our market, they're coming back a little bit, but it's much easier to buy a house than it was last summer, for instance, where you had like 25 people or more sometimes bidding on a house, sometimes, 6 figures over asking price.
It's more of
which is ridiculous. Now you're going to pay more in interest rate,
sure,
but you'll get the house at a better price. And then, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have a belief that rates will come down from here.
Sure.
So, year two, you probably have a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to refinance at a more attractive rate. And then you've got the house at a better cost basis and a nice affordable rate. And you may end up being a lot better off than having bought that house at that 3% or whatever rate from last year.
And a lot less aggravating when you're trying to write 47 offers and get one house. That the one thing I shared with my team was, in my opinion, the market, at least in our market, right? So in 30 miles south of Cleveland, Ohio, we have probably a more balanced market, a more normal market, kind of like it was 4 or 5, 6 years ago, where it takes 14 to 30 days to sell a house. I mean, if we put a house on the market and it's underpriced, it's going to sell fast with multiple offers. We're still in that same situation. If we try to get uber aggressive and get to the point where we're like, oh, we know it's 300, but we're going to ask 350 to see what happens, it sits for 40 days, right? Once it gets priced to the right spot, it's going to sell. Now, I'm not in California. I'm not in Chicago. Markets are different. Texas as well. Like those are a little bit different markets than where we're at. Maybe that hasn't come as far east yet. I mean, New York is very slow too, but we're not experiencing that as much. So we're a little luckier.
Yeah, at least, in the Dallas-Fort Worth market where I'm at, a balanced market is considered to be about 6 to 6.5 months of inventory. We're less than a third that right now. And, some people are thinking like the sky's
it's the end of the world. Yeah. You're still not even there.
Because we're just so far off to the extreme.
Yeah.
In, the sellers having all the power.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's heading back to, the more the power is going back to buyers, but, we're still not at equilibrium by a long shot.
But yeah, I mean, you're still 1/3 of what would be normal.
Right.
Right. So, but the perception is, like you said, the sky's falling, the business is crazy. So how do you educate the people that are in your downline or the agents that you're with? Like, how do you get them to take a deep breath, calm down, not worry about going back to work at wherever they were, Starbucks or the bar or whatever? Just take a deep breath, focus on what you're doing, and keep going. Like, how do you get them grounded?
Well, I think first of all is making sure that, they're aware of all the training and tools that we offer. Okay. So, it's not hard to get overwhelmed with all the training and tools that EXP offers.
Right.
It's literally, when you come on, it's like drinking from a fire hose.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you don't have to use all of them. You probably won't ever use some of them.
But it's hard to get people to realize that there's all of this stuff here, and you have to have a systematic approach to how you absorb it. Otherwise, you're going to be in a room watching content for months.
So if they have a specific challenge, what I might do is actually get them online with expcloud.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that has our full training calendar laid out for the next several weeks and say, what's the challenge? Is it lead generation you're having? Let's go look at some classes over next week that are on lead generation techniques, things that you resonate with. I'm not going to advise somebody to go door to door knocking if that's not what they want to do. Or, if they, life's too short to do lead gen that you're not passionate about. So
sure.
There's so many ways to skin that cat. Pick a few things you're passionate about. Let's go deep in learning about them. If you want to learn how to do video, if you want to learn how to build funnels with KV Core, let's find some classes and training to do that. And I can help with that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And everything. Also focusing on mindset too. It's like, hey, if you have a fallback plan, if you want to go deliver pizza or, whatever have you, if you want to go work at Starbucks part-time, you've already halfway admitted defeat.
Yep.
And, you're probably going to start going backwards because that's going to be comfortable. It's a fairly steady paycheck. You'll never get time or financial freedom from it, but it's probably going to feel more comfortable. So, you really just got to become comfortable feeling uncomfortable because that's typically where the growth is happening.
Yeah. And I think for me, for my team, and for the people that are part of my association, I try to get them to sit down and be really laser focused on what they want out of real estate, right? Because what I want out of real estate, what you want out of real estate, and what they want could be light years different.
Absolutely. I've seen it all.
So yeah, we had a conversation with my team just a couple of weeks ago, and I asked each one of them like what their goals were for the year, right? One person wanted to do $5 million. One person wanted to do $3 million. One person wanted to do $1.5 million. Now we're in a Cleveland market, a little different, right? But she wanted to sell 10 houses at $150,000 each and do $1.5 million because it's just added income for her. And that's perfectly fine, right? That's what you were just talking about. Whether you wanted to do Starbucks or McDonald's or pizza, that's fine for that person. For me, the ability to up our game and really take over a marketplace and really be, like Nick always talks about, being the community champ of where you're at. If you want to be out there trying to be the person that's bringing information and bringing all the tools necessary for somebody to really grow their business, or the platform that'll really put somebody on there that wants to sell, 50, 60, 100, 200 homes a year, like we have all that stuff in place, and knowing where we can find that is amazing. but just sitting at that table with my team, like I had 5 different opinions of what they thought was success for a real estate agent. So for me or for you or for anybody else that's out there, like we have to really focus on the individual.
Yeah, I think you bring something up that's important too. Is I think many agents, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but they're probably oblivious to the possibilities in real estate.
Sure.
Especially with the EXP business model.
Mm-hmm.
The whole society has taught us to, sell more, focus on GCI, which I think is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
or number of transactions. If I was going to go traditional and focus, I'd be focused on, hey, what's my bottom line? What's my net profit for the year?
Right.
And if I could do that same net profit with fewer transactions, that's even better.
Sure.
At a higher price point. But, when you start educating agents and, helping them create a community or join a community where they start hanging around people who are making 6 figures, even 7 figures a month, doing rev share, being loaded up with, 6-7 figures of stock,
mm-hmm.
It just changes your belief system and your mindset of what's possible. Coming into this, I thought to make more money as a realtor, I had to do more transactions. I had to sell more. Now I never dreamed I'd have a team that sells 500 to 700 transactions per month and everything.
Have you ever sat down and just sat there and thought about the number, right? Because for me, from my aspect and where I'm at with my downline and my organization, right? My personal organization, where I'm at in comparison to yours, right? That's totally mind blown for me. And we talked about this earlier, and you said you're one person away from being in the same position, but have you ever sat down and actually thought to yourself, like, what in the world? Like, did you ever think coming here you would be where you are now with 2,500, 2,450 people in your organization, right? And
it's like 25, 40, something like that.
Yeah. So did you ever stop and think about that? Like, have you ever thought you and your wife sit down and think about that?
So when I joined EXP, there were 16 or 1,700 people in the company. So
right. Do you have more than that in yours?
Yeah, about 50% more than that. So no, I knew that I wanted to focus on that aspect of it because I believed that would be the quickest route towards attaining financial and time freedom, which I was already working on as a real estate investor. But, I totally underestimated how quickly this thing would blow up.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I did recognize very early into it that was the opportunity that would set me free. In fact, about 6 months into my tenure at EXP, I basically had a burn the boats epiphany, and I just absolutely stopped my single family real estate investing business. I still had one rental that was performing well and everything, generating a lot of cash flow. So I kept that one, but I quit doing any kind of new deals and everything. And I said, I'm just going to go all in on that. And immediately it paid dividends too, because I was going to a pretty distant tertiary market. It was about an hour and a half away from me, probably 2 to 3 times a week. And that was like 3 hours round trip for me.
Yeah.
So it gave me a lot of time back, helped me focus on that part of the business. And, didn't yield immediate results financially, but it did pay off.
Yeah. Now, some of the questions I hear, or some of the comments I hear out in the market right now is, okay, EXP grew. We're obviously, you came in with 1,600 agents. We're over 87, 88,000 now. A lot of people out there are saying, okay, there's no more room to grow. Why would I come? There's nobody, nothing else out there. I know what my answer to that is, because I know everybody's coming. It's just a matter of when they're coming. And there's millions of agents out there. So what do you see as an opportunity as being part of this great platform that we're lucky enough to be part of? Like, what do you see future wise? I know we're not allowed to talk about stocks and revenues and all that other stuff. I don't mean that. I'm just like volume of people. I know we're opening in different countries, but what do you see as the greatest opportunity, in the near future?
Okay, well, there's a lot of different legs of opportunities. So if you look at just North American market, last I heard, I believe we have low single digit market share. Okay, so we are one of the behemoths in North America, but it's a very fractured market. There's no single firm or firms that really have just that big market dominance. You have like the automakers, for instance. Okay, so tons of room for growth there. Where we in over 20 countries now, adding about 10 per year. And I think the total addressable market, I think nobody knows for sure worldwide, but I believe it's like at least 10 million realtors. Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Compare that to where we're at now, 87, 88,000. Okay. That's huge upside for growth. Over the last, couple of years, we've really got focused on the commercial brokerage, which was still relatively small for us and growing. So I think that's got a huge amount of upside since that's kind of one of our babies. And then our newest one is the referral brokerage. And that's for agents that are largely retired, not actively producing anymore, and want to really lower their fees. It's got a different fee structure. You're not part of the board of realtors and NAR, so you save a lot of your expenses. You can still refer transactions to other agents. You can still attract other agents, build your own rev share organization. So it gives you a chance to, continue. If you're already a referral agent in another brokerage, come over here and do the same thing, probably with a better fee structure, and also give you the chance to attract agents and build that residual income stream.
I mean, that's huge, especially for people that are looking for an exit strategy, right? So if you're an agent that wants to kind of slow down a little bit, you still have the ability to have your entire database and go into the referral program and, help out other agents while you're still getting paid for it, right?
Right. And one other thing I forgot to mention too is there is still, it's a massive opportunity of agents who haven't even been licensed yet and everything. There's constantly new agents coming onto it. I believe that our future top producers and top rev share earners, many of them are not even with the company yet. Many of them are not licensed yet. So people coming in, there's always going to be a steady new stream.
Somebody younger and more energetic, right?
Yeah. In fact, I actually like having bringing in some younger agents too, because I know that, they will keep producing throughout the rest of my life, hopefully, and everything, and building.
Some of the old people like you and me don't like getting in front of cameras too much and, doing certain things that they grew up doing it.
Right. Yeah. So there's certainly a lot to be said for experience, but there's also a lot to be said for not having preconceived notions of how things have been doing. What's your perspective on the future growth opportunities?
So I think, not dropping names, there's lots of real estate agents out there that are with these other bigger companies today that eventually are going to come over. Big teams come over all the time. Big names come over to EXP all the time, especially in the last 2 years. In our market, one of the largest teams in the Cleveland market came over. He was running the brokerage at his previous brokerage. He was running that whole thing, 220, 225 agents. He ended up leaving, coming over here with, I think he brought 25 or 30 people with him. His entire organization was about 35 with his admins and stuff like that. That was just a few months ago. There are over 50 people already. So just them making the move and being as big as they are in the Cleveland market, they've already attracted 10 or 15 people to them because of their story and why they did it. I think there's a huge opportunity for growth when you look at, we went from, when I joined, there was 6,000 agents. So you joined with 1,600. I joined with 6,000. That was about 5 years ago, something like that. So from there till where we're at now at 88,000, we had 82,000 people in less than 5 years. That's mind-boggling to me, but that puts us at, I think, fifth or sixth largest real estate company in America. I believe that's pretty accurate, which just means the other ones that have 225 to 250,000, have a lot of people that probably will be coming over fairly shortly. But there's a lot of people that are looking for a better opportunity from, we do have revenue share, we do have stocks, we do sell houses. Number one, first and foremost, we sell houses. We also have a healthcare system that we can use. There's a lot of benefits that aren't available at other brokerages, and I think ultimately that's going to help us attract a lot more people.
Yeah, you mentioned a big brokerage moving over recently. I think that's another thing that we could see over the next 3 to 5 plus years is a lot of these the traditional franchise brokerages, market centers, many of them are locked in through long-term brokerage agreements. The franchise agreements, they can't just flip over on a dime. Those things can be nearly impossible, if not very expensive to leave. And of course, we can't really try to incent them or help or push them too much. We want to avoid tortious interference.
Sure.
So, but I know that they're increasingly looking at EXP. Yeah. And I think many of them wish it would be with EXP right now.
Well, and it seems some of the teams that are in there can leave. The entire brokerage.
Yeah. But actually the broker owners and everything.
Correct.
As those franchise agreements, the clock starts ticking down towards expiration, and they get into their free look-at periods. I think we'll see more of those fold over into EXP.
Yeah, and I think that growth opportunity is going to be huge. I think opening in new countries is a big thing. We're in 20 countries already, or right around there. And you said we're adding about 10 per year. So, just doing that, you're going to bring thousands and thousands of more people on board. And I just think the army of people that are coming or that are here, once they're able to share with their friends the collaboration efforts that everybody does here, it's just going to become more and more apparent where they should be. So I think it's huge.
Yes, it's very exciting. And I could easily see us, 500,000 agents within the next 5 years. And
that would be amazing.
And just disclaimer, I'm not an official representative of the company. It's purely my personal opinion.
Yeah. And we talked about that earlier, right? We can't talk about stocks. We can't talk about the cool thing about being in this company, like you were mentioning before, with the stocks, with the revenue share and all that other stuff. None of that happens without selling houses. So we talked about this quite a bit, but the biggest misconception is the only reason why people are coming here is to flat out recruit. I don't recruit that well. Not well. I don't recruit that many people right now because I'm more focused on what I'm doing with my team, right? I'm still adding people to my team. I'm still talking to people about coming to EXP, just not on the same level as other people like yourself or some of the other people that we're friends with. And that is nothing bad with you guys. I'm starting to transition my business towards that. And the reason why I'm changing that focus is, I want to get to the point where I leave a legacy for my kids. I have the ability to create better futures for my family by me not being lazy or me not taking the easy way out and just doing my job, right? Me helping other people change their lives ultimately is going to help my kids change their lives. And I think that it's selfish for us not to share the opportunity with as many people as we can, because maybe they haven't heard it. Maybe they have such a negative persona of EXP in that somebody, we always say EXP'd all over them, right? Because they're hungry, like they're trying to get that recruit. So they just try way too hard.
I think part of it too is like, I remember when I first started, I was excited. I was like an excited little puppy out of control, I had all this energy and, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread and just wanted to share it with everybody.
Yeah, but it's hard to take that excitement and do it.
You got to scale it back, and it's a learned skill. I've learned too. So, But one of our friends, basically put it pretty well. I thought he said, if you're a doctor and you discovered a cure for cancer, wouldn't you want to tell everybody?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the cure for realtor cancer and everything.
Right.
The fact that realtors have no company sponsored retirement plans. Most of them don't have health care. There's no kind of safety net for them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't own any equity in the firm. How crazy is that? Is we tell our clients like owning is better than renting, and yet
you don't own what you're doing.
They rent their brokerage.
Yep.
And everything. So, I believe it's just the most beautifully conceived model that solves all the traditional ills of our industry from a career perspective. And, it is a challenge. You got to kind of temper back that excitement a little bit and make sure that you, focus on relationships, adding value, and doing it in a way that doesn't scare people away. Yes. Right. But I've been there. I was that excited little puppy when I first started, and I just learned to temper that a little bit over time.
I think it's funny, like just listening to some of the stuff. Like if you log into the computer, you're on Facebook and you start hearing people, talk about all the different things that we do differently than what they do. It kind of helps us in a way, right? So when I was at my other brokerage, some of the meetings that we had were, don't do this and don't go there, and they're going to go bankrupt and all this other stuff. And now all those same people are over here doing the exact opposite. So it makes it nice to see those people coming over. And now there's a bigger friendship because we've been through that together.
Yeah,
I guess is a good way to look at it. I don't know, this was pretty awesome to go through all of this stuff. What would you say is your, we talk about what the future is. What does your personal business, like what you want to achieve, right? We already went from, you came here with 1,600 agents. There's 88,000 agents here. You came, I assume, by yourself, and now you have 2,500 people in your organization. Where is your, what's your number? Is there a number that you said that I know at the beginning you were like, holy crap, I can't believe this is where we're at already, right? Is there a number now that you reassessed your goal in? Is that a 10X, right? Is that 20,000 or is that 5?
Well, I guess it really kind of depends on what your time frame is for perspective.
Yeah.
So for 2023, I've got a base goal and a stretch goal. My base goal is 4,000 agents. My stretch is 5,000. Okay. And, then I'd like to get to 10,000. The reality is the bigger you grow, the slower your
Sure.
percentage growth rate is going to be. So, let's say in 3 years, max, I'd like to be at 10,000. I think I can do it quicker than that. I shouldn't say I. It's actually a group effort.
Yeah.
I would not be anywhere near where I'm at without my team.
Sure.
To be clear, but I've got an incredible team. We got a lot of duplication going. So yeah, I'm very blessed that we've got a map and a system that's working so well. So 20,000. It's almost like mind-boggling because that's where the top guys in the company are.
Yeah.
Right now. I believe it will happen. If you ask me when, I really haven't thought of that far.
Yeah.
10,000 would be incredible. 5,000 would be incredible.
Sure.
But, and I feel very happy where I'm at now. So it's just, 20 would be mind blowing, but
yeah,
I'm working on it.
But it's achievable.
Yes. And I believe it will be achieved within my lifetime for sure.
Yeah.
Could be 5 years, could be, who knows, but, just focus on this year right now and, helping the group build as much as we can for 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll focus on 2024 and, one step at a time. But, it's exciting when you really think what it could look like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Or even 10 years from now. The cool thing is that I EXP's blessed me in ways I can't even describe.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't have to do this anymore. I could just go off and
Sure.
play with my toys and my family, and go on vacation a lot. But I love what I do. This is a passion of mine. I feel like for all I've gotten from the company and from the great business partners I have that help me get where I'm at, now I need to pay it forward and help the next generation of people coming up through the company. So,
and be part of the collaboration.
Yeah. And it's, it really doesn't feel like work. It's a passion of mine. I, over time, I'm sure that my hours will probably scale back some,
sure.
But I can't see a date or any kind of like marker that says like, hey, it's time to retire. Because, this really is my second family. We talk about the culture of EXP and the collaboration, but, I've built some incredible friendships, and, I grew, it really does feel like family. And that doesn't just extend to the Wolfpack, but I have a lot of friends outside of Wolfpack, even that feel like family. I love you all.
Yeah.
And really just want to, do whatever small part I can to contribute to helping grow this great company.
I think it was amazing. I went down to Vegas for the first time a couple of years ago. And being in the room with 6,000, there's probably 4,000 agents down there 2 years ago when I went, and being in that room and just seeing people that you see on video, and you walk up and say hi to them, and they're the same person, right? So people, for me, like Jay Kinder, everybody's like, well, why do you relate to Jay Kinder a lot? Because Jay Kinder on video and Jay Kinder in person is still Jay Kinder. He's the same guy. He's not fake. He doesn't put on a fake persona, right? All the other people that are, for me, you've been here since you were 1,600 agents, right? So you're friends with all of those people that are up there. Like, those people are the exact same person in real life as they are behind the camera. And just seeing that, to me, a few years ago, was able to solidify my right choice of coming to the company in the first place. And then they just, blew it out of the park, put it on steroids or whatever. When you actually meet them, start talking to them, and they're literally that exact same. They want to do anything they can to help you be a better person, which ultimately makes you a better realtor, which ultimately makes you expand your family, of realtors, and everything goes back to yourself, your family, what you're going to do to take care of your family at home.
I'm glad you touched on that too, because sometimes I often think of EXP. It's in some ways it can sometimes feel like a personal development company disguised as a real estate brokerage.
Yep.
Because beyond all the training towards helping us become more effective salespeople and selling real estate, now I'm part of success coaching. I have a success coach, but I am one too. And I've got so much training beyond success, just dollar training and being around incredible people, some of the movers and shakers of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally changed my mindset over the years I've been here. And I really think that, if I was to, for some reason, if EXP was to cease to exist, or I was going to start over outside of EXP, I would be so much better equipped to succeed in anything I do, even outside of real estate, based on all the mindset, the personal development, and everything I've gotten from my association with all the great people that I work with.
Well, I think the biggest takeaway I get from EXP is how we interact with the personal relationships that we're involved with on a daily basis. And depending on what you're doing, or, the coaching, the success coaching, and, all of the stuff that we have through, like, for us, for like NAEA and success and EXP and all the training that we have, all of it focuses on how we can be better people and how we can better take care of the people around us. And I don't mean like take care of them. I mean, help them become better people, right? Like you said, personal coaches, but really helping them focus on what their goals are, right? They really help us try to find those answers. Like we were in a meeting earlier, and we were talking about like what our goals are and where we want to be, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, or what does that even look like? Here, this is what they start all of the training with, right? Like, where are you at now? Where do you want to go? And what do you want to do? And I said, what's the future of the company? The future of the company is with all the people that we're bringing with us, or everybody that's coming along that get plugged into the training that we have or the coaching that we have, because it just makes you a better person. The more you are at helping yourself be a better person, the better you're going to feel about yourself, the better you're going to feel about the relationships around you. That's going to help you help the new agent or the retiring agent feel better about where they're at. And it all just becomes, a better humanity. I don't even know how to explain that.
Yeah, it helps you become a better husband, a better father,
Yep.
Better son, better contributor to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And, so many ways that extend beyond my real estate career.
Yeah. And I think that being here, talking about this with you, it's just, for me, it's awesome, right? Because I haven't been able to put myself in a position to have these conversations. And I think that doing this is amazing, and I appreciate all your time and help, and all your comments.
Oh, likewise. I appreciate learning from you and being inspired for you and everything. You got a great story.
Hopefully we can keep that story going, right? Like
there's no hopefully about it. We will. I'm not going to let you make it.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of people that, are worried about where you're going to be, or, me, like, are you going to do real estate forever? Are you going to do this? You're going to do that? Yeah. I don't work. Right. And I don't, to me, if I wake up and I feel awesome about what I do, and I'm not actually physically going to work and, hitting 9 to 5, I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I never stop. But to me, it's life. To me, it's doing whatever I can to be better for my family and my kids. And you have the same goals, right? You want to go on vacation, you want to do this, you want to do that. But bringing everybody around with us for that ride is amazing. And I think that the same personality traits that we share will help me with attracting people to the company. And I know that you're not going to have any problem attracting people to the company. You've been
it's no fun achieving success by yourself. You want to bring your buddies and colleagues and friends along and everything. So it's so much more fulfilling.
The party's better when there's people there.
Yeah, when you have all your colleagues to celebrate. With and everything. So.
Yeah, I appreciate all the time you gave with us, and looking forward to working with you throughout the years.
Well, thank you, Mike. It's been a pleasure, and appreciate your time as well.
Thanks.